How's it going, everybody?
For this week, we're going to be doing something a little bit different. For the past few weeks, and then also for the next upcoming weeks, we're going to be doing a lot of traveling and also a lot of planning for future trips. So what we decided to do is kind of just sit down and go over what we've done so far, how we got to where we are, and then just some other miscellaneous things that we're just going to go over.
Just kind of tell you guys how we got here and like the trips that brought us up to where we are now and that kind of thing. And we're going to try to do it with minimal video cutting, I guess you could say, like splicing the video together and whatnot. So yeah, that type of thing.
That is accurate.
And then it will cut right there.
Cut.
All right. So what do you want to talk about, Ash? I know you got a lot written down, so.
Because you asked me to write things down. Well, first thing is the first big trip that we went on was the Florida / Key West / Pennsylvania / Orlando / Washington, D.C. trip.
Yeah. So we took a big trip down. For those of you who don't know, we took a big trip in Ashley's green Jeep. We took it from Massachusetts, from where we used to live, all the way down to Key West, Florida. And that was like a, 3,600-mile round trip?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. And that was right after we had just finished tearing apart her Jeep.
About a week earlier.
Yeah.
Literally a week earlier.
Yeah, it was about a week. And we completely tore apart the Jeep and made it to what we wanted it. It would be like a reliable overlander. You know, engine, suspension, everything. Everything. That Jeep was nothing.
Basic overlander. Like, it's not what you see now. It was even less than what we have now.
But it was a nice clean Jeep at that point. Mm-hmm. So that was pretty nice. And we decided, we know we were going on a month-long trip. We took a 5-week road trip about 2 months after that. Mm-hmm. And so this Key West trip, this Florida trip, was like to break.
Like a test run.
It was a test run, to see how the Jeep did. And it did pretty well.
I think we had one minimal problem, and it was a very easy fix.
One big problem that we were able to, work with, and we were able to fix it while we were 1,500 miles away from home.
I forgot where it even happened. Oh, I think we were in Corpus Christi. No,
it was Orlando.
That was that's Texas. That's not near
No.
Florida.
We were in Orlando, and we drove about 2 hours that morning. We were going towards Key West.
Mm-hmm. We were at a Harley,
and
actually.
We stopped at a Harley, and Ash was like, "There's what's this film on the back of the Jeep?" It was like just a weird oily film, and I was like, "Wow, that's a lot of oil on that." And so I looked underneath the Jeep right there, and we were missing the drain plug out of the transfer case, and all the oil out of that had come out.
Yeah.
And we
tried to work with Harley to see if they had like a bolt or something, but
just like a plug that would work.
Harley parts aren't really interchangeable with XJs.
We couldn't, so we got an Uber to I think an O'Reilly's, and we grabbed some fluid. We grabbed a plug that wasn't the plug, but it was gonna work, and we did make it work.
That was one of the big things that we realized overlanders have to do is kind of think on their feet.
Yeah, and just make it work. You're not gonna get a tow truck. It'd be a lot of money to get it back to Massachusetts.
Yeah, back to Massachusetts. Yeah, but that's not the only time we've had it break down, and we had to think on our feet. But we'll talk about that. Later.
So that was pretty cool, and we were able. The Jeep was totally fine after that. For that rest of that trip, we drove further away from home after that. We went down to Key West. Yep. Had a good time there. We made our way back, and I think once we got home, the Jeep wouldn't go into 4-wheel drive. It would pop out, and it was making terrible noises. So,
remember that?
Well, it did, and we put another transfer case in. Is what we did, but it was cool that we were. That was fine because
that was a fun trip.
It was cool. We were able to make it work.
Yeah, I think there was a lot of driving involved, but our main stops were Orlando. We went to Epcot, and also, is it called Disney Springs now?
Disney Springs, downtown Disney,
whatever it is.
Something like that.
And then we also went to Key West. And then we went back up and stopped in Washington, D.C. and Pennsylvania, where you used to live for a little while.
Yep. Yeah.
And then we went back
home. It was a really nice trip. We that was the first trip we used the rooftop tent as well. Mm-hmm. Well, we pulled in Key West, and the people right next to us also had a rooftop tent that they had been using for like years, they said. Mm-hmm. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah, and I actually have been keeping track of how much we've been using that tent. And I might, maybe at the end of the year, at some point, I'll go over, whether or not it's worth the cost based off of how much we stayed in it.
I think so far it probably has. I mean, I
have all the numbers. Yeah, just gotta do it.
We'll have to do that out for you guys.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah, it'd be pretty sweet.
Our next big trip after that was moving out to where we are now, to Western Slope.
Yeah, so then we moved out to Colorado, I don't know, 2 months after that or something.
Well, that was April, and then we got married in June. And then 2 weeks after we got married, we got in the Jeep with the dogs, or Bella and Natalie, not Lilli at the time, and we just started driving.
Yeah, so that was a really cool trip. We had spent 5 weeks on the road, and I think some of our major stops was like the first major stop was like Georgia, Texas,
Arizona.
We went to Arizona, then Nevada, then we went California, Oregon, Washington. And then
we just went from Nevada. Oh no, we went to Nevada, then Utah,
and Colorado.
That's where we ended.
But that was an amazing trip.
Did a lot. That was a lot.
Yeah, so I mean, we can go into that a little bit. So I mean, we stopped in Georgia, met up with some family, stayed with them for I think a night, and then we went down to Texas, which we went down to the Texas coast and.
It was Padre Island National. Island National Seashore. I like
that.
Padre Island National Seashore.
Yeah, that.
That is maybe my favorite spot on the entire trip.
It was definitely my favorite spot on that entire trip. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
That is.
We'll have pictures.
Yeah.
Here.
So yeah, it's a really cool spot for those of you who don't know. It's 60 miles of beach that you can drive on. So if you have a 4-wheel drive, no, it's 60. 60? Yeah, 60. The first 5 miles is for you can drive like a sedan, like a car that's not 4-wheel drive.
Like 30-foot campers that people.
Yeah, people bring huge rigs there.
But if you go any farther than that, it will tell you like don't go unless you can. Your vehicle can handle it.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't even think we aired down that time. I think, and we were fine. Yeah. I think the furthest we went was 30 miles in.
Yeah.
And we camped there, and absolutely gorgeous. There's not, at least when we went, there wasn't any people there. From where we were camped, you can look left and right, and there's just no one.
But there's really not many places where you can camp like right on the beach.
Yeah.
And I think the only things I would say about Padre Island is bring a few extra trash bags because. Yeah, it could use a little bit of a cleanup, just like anywhere. That's the only thing
is the ocean brings in a lot of trash, and then.
But hey, you can do your part and bring a trash bag, do some cleanup. We definitely did a few times. Yeah, bring sunscreen because that was one of the worst sunscreens of my life. It was so bad.
We weren't prepared.
Well, no, we were. We just neglected to put on sunscreen.
Yeah, probably that.
But it was a good time.
Yeah, it was definitely fun.
And then the day after that, the day we left Padre Island is when we drove 14 hours straight to go to Tucson to meet up with Joe and Jess. Yeah,
and we drove 14 hours straight in the Jeep. At that point, that was the furthest we ever driven in the Jeep.
Yeah.
At one time.
Texas.
Yeah, all Texas. It was
all Texas.
It was brutal.
It was boring.
And we thought we were gonna be able to take showers earlier that day, but they were closed because of COVID. It was rough.
Yeah, especially being that burnt.
Yeah, we got to Joe's. I think Joe and Jess's at midnight. They had a nice Red Baron pizza going for us. We took some showers and.
Oh yeah.
Then after the next day, we drove to Sedona for the first time really early.
Yeah, and it was I think in Arizona when we were driving. Me and Jess actually left first and left Joe and Ron behind, and it was 105. And I had the heat on in the Jeep because I didn't want it to overheat.
Yeah.
I was a little worried. Because it's hot sitting in Arizona traffic.
Yeah.
Went through my first sandstorm.
Yeah.
That was a little scary.
It was totally different world from, obviously, Massachusetts. Yeah. Not what we were used to at the time.
Yeah, so we spent 4th of July in Sedona. And I think we were there for 3 nights. And it was.
Yep, but that is the trip. So we've been to Sedona twice now. And we will be 3 times very soon. And that first time, we were expecting to go on a few trails, like Broken Arrow Trail, Snubbly Hill, Soldier's Pass.
Broken Arrow?
Yep, Broken Arrow.
Did you say that?
Broken Arrow, yeah.
Oh.
Yep. And we were hoping to go on those trails, but Arizona was on fire at the time. And it always is on fire, apparently.
Yeah.
So all those trails were closed. We still had a great time, found a nice campsite.
Yeah, but that's why we then decided to go back in November is because...
The second time.
You have a lot... either better weather and also better chances of trails being open.
Yeah. And we were able to hit the trails that second time around.
Yeah.
Yep. And then I think after Sedona, we ended up...
We got trapped. Oh, no, we went to Las Vegas. We didn't plan to go to Las Vegas.
Well, we went to Grand Canyon, right?
Yeah, Grand Canyon, Hoover Dam, Las Vegas.
Yeah, and we were expecting to just shoot over to California at that point from the Grand Canyon, but I think...
I was just... curious how much Las Vegas hotels would be.
And it was a middle of the week,
the middle of the week, They're pretty cheap. I'm pretty sure we got, with 2 dogs, we got the hotel room for like $75 a night.
Yeah, which is not bad. It was
Yeah.
probably half the price if you didn't have dogs.
Yeah, it wasn't on the strip, but I mean, just to say that you brought your 2 beagles to Las Vegas.
Yeah, we kept walking Bella and Natalie around inside the casinos.
Yeah.
Down the strip. It was funny.
Yep.
Good time.
Got a tattoo.
Yep.
Not drunkenly. By choice.
Yeah.
But it was a good time. We should probably talk about California.
Yeah. Yeah, so then after Las Vegas, we headed to California, and at that point, Vegas, when we were in Vegas, it was 115 degrees,
God,
and
yeah.
it did not get any better at that point. So I think what
we were gonna go to Death Valley, but
we were gonna go do Mojave Trail,
Mojave, yeah, that's what it was,
in Death Valley, like that type of thing.
But hence the name, in the middle of July.
Not a smart idea.
Not a good idea.
It would have been 120 degrees, and we crossed into California. It was 115 degrees at that point.
Yeah, and we decided we were gonna either stay in the Mojave, or we decided actually to drive up to Bishop, California, and stay on Movie Road.
Yep, that's what we ended up doing, because and I was really upset we had to do that. I was really upset we had to do that because I was really looking forward to exploring the Mojave for the next 3 days, but the dogs were not doing great. The Jeep overheated a few times in Las Vegas and getting to California, so we decided to book it north, and we ended up in Bishop.
And then I think after Bishop we went to Inyo National Forest.
Yep.
Which we spent 2 or 3 days there, up at like 11,000 feet, right on Funnel Lake.
Funnel Lake, yeah, and on Coyote Flats.
And we did that basically to get away from the heat.
It was probably, and then at night I think it was like 65 degrees, so much better than 115.
And then after that we headed west to the Pacific Ocean.
No, wait.
Yeah.
We did Rubicon.
Yeah, no, you're right.
So we headed to Lake Tahoe after that, and we wanted to just go on the famous Rubicon Trail. We didn't want to do the whole trail, obviously, because we were in an overlander.
And alone.
We were alone, too.
Yeah.
But we just, we went up to a lake called Loon Lake, which is the beginning to the Rubicon Trail. And we stayed on Loon Lake, which is an amazing lake. Yeah. We swam for a little bit. We camped at an actual campsite there. And then we went on the Rubicon Trail just so we can say that we've done it. We just went in, I don't know, half a mile or so.
Yeah.
And really cool. We're going to be back there hopefully next year.
Yeah.
Definitely next year.
And then after that, we continued to head west to the Pacific Ocean.
Yeah. We got to the Pacific, and we went up the, what was it?
I think it's
Route 1? Route 1, Interstate 1, something like that. The Coastal Highway.
Yeah.
Which,
and that was
crazy.
Yeah,
super
like
crazy.
we grew up on the East Coast, so we know what the ocean looks like in like being on the coast, but this is like the Pacific Ocean.
It's like the ledges.
Yeah,
like,
the ledges right next to the ocean is what was crazy.
And especially this road in particular, like hugs
and it was so windy.
The ocean. Yeah.
It was crazy.
And there was fog, and it's super cool experience.
So, yeah, I think actually when we were traveling up that way, we stopped at a place called Shelter Cove.
Yeah, that was a cool place.
It's like the lost, like the coast.
It's just
it's a town along the coast, but it says
it's just like in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, I think they call it the Lost Cove.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Really cool spot.
Yeah, and then that's when we ran into trouble.
Well, and then I think after we left Shelter Cove, we ended up heading north, and we were like in the Redwoods for a little bit. So we went through a little town, nice little town. We thought it was really nice at the time. It was called Eureka, California.
Oh, gosh.
And we were like, wow, this place is great, because what they have.
There was a Mod Pizza.
The Mod Pizza, and what was right next to it? Chipotle. And there was a Dutch Bros there, too. We really liked Dutch Bros. And we were like, wow, this place is great. We stopped and got some pizza, and then we continued going. We went about an hour north. We were in the Redwoods Forest. We were seeing these giant trees.
Yeah,
we were amazed by that. Yeah, so we were on the highway. We got off the highway to get into the national forest and whatnot. And the Jeep, we came to a stop. The Jeep started running like absolute crap, and it just shut off. And like it just wouldn't turn on after that.
Yeah, and you spent about 2 hours looking at it, trying to figure out what was wrong with it.
Figuring out what was wrong with it. I had spark air fuel, all the things you need, and the thing just wouldn't run. And we ended up having to walk a mile to get, because we had no cell phone reception.
Yeah, so what we did was we we walked about probably a mile down to, we knew that we were right next to it, like a remote campsite. But thankfully, when we were there during the day, and there was
we got there just in time.
A ranger station. Not ranger station, but wherever you
a check-in thing for the campsite.
So they were
only there for like the next half hour or so.
So we were really lucky because they let us use the phone, they let us use their Wi-Fi in order to like call AAA, call a hotel, like book a hotel.
Yeah.
So that was really nice of them. And like I said earlier, you gotta think on your feet and shout it. Like we had no cell phone service.
Yeah, we did what we could on the side of the road. But I mean, I have every tool I need to take apart a Jeep Cherokee on the trail, but there's only so much you can do at sometimes. So we ended up getting the tow truck. We walked a mile back to the Jeep, surrounded by these crazy redwoods.
We did stop and take time to look at them while we were there.
Yeah.
Even though we were sad.
Make the situation a little better.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was really cool. The redwoods at least, and then we got the tow truck. We had to go back to that town of Eureka that we would end up really hating.
Yeah, it was just so expensive, and like it was one of the more expensive places to have to be stuck. And we were there for, I think we ended up being there for.
Well, we broke down on a Friday, I think.
That was, I don't even remember.
I think it was a Friday, and then we had to spend the whole weekend because all the shops were closed.
Yeah, we tried bringing it. We actually had it towed to a Jeep. Jeep couldn't get to it.
Just because we didn't know what to do at that point.
Yeah,
we just towed it to a Jeep dealership.
Jeep wasn't able to get to it. And then so we started searching around for other places that could take it in, and everywhere was saying we're not gonna be able to get to it for a week. And then finally I just kept calling places, and one place said we can get it in on Wednesday. It must have been a Friday. They got it in on Wednesday, and actually took them.
We called them on Monday.
Yeah, and they were able to get it in on the Wednesday.
I think we brought it on Tuesday or something, and then at that point we were trying to find rental cars because we had booked an Airbnb in Washington for I think Wednesday or Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
And so we got the Jeep towed from Jeep to this place called Eureka Brake and Auto.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just like a little old shop. And they said, oh yeah, we'll try to get to work on it on Wednesday or something. And we brought it on Tuesday or something like that.
They had it done by Thursday.
We ended up going back with the rental car to get some things out of it, and they already had it in the shop the same day.
Yeah, they were awesome.
It was absolutely crazy.
Yeah, and they got right to work on it, and I don't think I really even described to them our like situation and stuff, but they were very helpful.
Yeah, I know. Like we were 3,000 miles away from home. We tried to tell all these shops that we were on the phone with, and no one cared.
Yeah, and then we decided rather than sticking around and just sitting around in a hotel, we found a rental car.
We finally got a rental.
And then we just started driving to Washington.
Yep. So it was super sad. We had to leave the Jeep and whatnot. But we drove through Oregon, Washington, stayed on our Airbnb.
It was a really nice Airbnb.
Super nice Airbnb. We didn't lose out on the money, which was nice. It was the whole reason.
Yeah. We spent more money to get there, but.
Yeah, but it is what it is. You gotta think on your feet, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then actually, when we got back from Washington and picked up the Jeep, we were actually supposed to be in Utah to meet my cousin, to go camping with her
at
a cabin, and we hightailed it right out of there.
That was the second time we drove the Jeep 14 hours.
Yeah,
and we drove it from the crappy town of Eureka all the way to Ashley National Forest.
Yeah, we went to Ashley National Forest, but we booked it, and I'm pretty sure we stayed right on the Nevada-Utah border.
Oh, yeah, Nevada, Utah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, we stayed on that border one night at a KOA, and then we went over. Well, was that before or after? I don't know.
That was before.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because then right when we left Utah, we stayed in Salt Lake City with my cousin, and then we left in the morning and went right to where we are now.
Yeah, Colorado. And that was basically the end of the trip, I guess. The big trip.
That was the biggest trip we've ever been on. I mean, it's not very often in your life you get to take 5 weeks off of like life and work just to go do whatever you want. So we were really fortunate to be able to do that. And
yeah, it definitely worked out. And the reason it worked out like that is because we're already moving to Colorado. So we were in between jobs and whatnot. It's not like our jobs let us have 5 weeks off.
Rental at a certain time. And then Ron was able to tell his job when he started
working.
we were basically able to be like, we want to start working this time.
Yeah.
So it worked out really well.
Yeah, it was a super nice trip. And since then, we haven't been on a trip quite as long, but...
No, but we have plans.
We will be.
We have plans.
Eventually.
And now both of our jobs are very good with time off, so we're able to take some.
That's how we're able to do the bigger trips.
Yeah, we always see that we're probably out on like Mondays, Tuesdays. That's why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, since that trip we've gone. Now we're in Colorado. We've been spending a lot of time exploring the area as much as we can. Obviously,
Mm-hmm.
you know, we're really close to Moab, so we've already explored. We've been here a little over a year, and we've explored Moab a lot more than most people can, just because of how close we are.
I remember you used to always say like you would love to just go on a week-long trip to Moab, and now you get to go there every weekend.
Yeah, I know. It's awesome. It's pretty crazy. So it's really cool being so close to Moab. Well, it's super cool being in Colorado because there's so much you can do. You can go do totally different things, you know, off-road wise. So in the winter, like between November and April, you can go to Moab. It's not going to be incredibly hot like it is during the summer. And then during the summer, you can head up into the mountains of Colorado.
Yeah.
And that's all we've been doing this summer is basically exploring the mountains as much as we can.
Yeah. And there's still so much more to see.
Yeah.
We got a lot more to do.
We explored, like I said, a lot of Moab, and then this summer we explored a lot of like the trails around Ouray and Telluride.
Mm-hmm. And we haven't even gotten a chance to go, you know, on I-70 very much and check out all the mountain towns.
That's our plan next year is we want to maybe head down I-70, explore a lot of the trails down there, like that come off of I-70 and whatnot. Mm-hmm. Definitely get closer to Denver, explore that area, trail-wise. So the camera died just as soon as we were ending the video, so we got it back and going. Lilli came to join us. Mm-hmm. But anyways, guys, this has been well over 20 minutes, I think. Mm-hmm. I wanted to keep it under 20 minutes, but it is what it is. Yeah. But we just wanted to give you guys a little insight of what brought us to where we are now.
And the kind of the behind the scenes of overlanding, because they don't always show.
No,
the boring parts or the behind the scenes.
There's a lot. I mean, there's a lot that goes into it. That's all.
Yeah.
But let us know if you guys liked something like this, and we can maybe do some more like this, because we wanted to do this just because we did go out this weekend, but we didn't end up filming it. We went on the trail, and so we didn't want to leave you guys hanging for another week because we didn't have a video last week. So anyways, hope you guys enjoyed it, and we'll see you guys next time.
Yeah, and if you have any questions about our trips or anything in the future, feel free to put them in the comments.
Yeah, put them in the comments. We really like reading all the comments. We like seeing new subscribers, likes, all that stuff.
I love interacting with you guys.
Yeah, it's really cool. Be sure to check out Ash's blog as well. Should be one that comes out with every video. That's what we're trying to do. Maybe not this one.
I got a lot to do.
Yeah. Anyways, we'll see you guys next time.